Okay, so today we're going to be talking about technique. I know we talked about glue cups and what's the best way to use glue in your technique. The shallower the cup, the better, because that allows you to refresh your cup more and makes your glue at its top performance, okay? These deep cups are not really good, okay? Now, they have ideas like headbands and, you know, putting something here and lash pads on the head, and you're working over a head, and you should be resting your hands on the head to use. Not everybody does that technique. There are a few people who do it a little differently, but for the majority of us out there, having some kind of headband and lash pad on top of a client's head, those designs don't buy into. They're not going to make it faster. They're really just going to be in your way. And as far as covering a client's head, you can find just the right thing that works for you, but more often than not, it's just making sure your hands are very clean. You can use gloves, I apologize. But everything else will tend to slide around and just end up getting in the way of what you're trying to accomplish. So a clean head, clean hands, and you working with sanitized equipment is going to be more than enough as far as your technique goes. They also make these wristbands where you have a lash tile here and you work off of that. They don't work and because you're using both hands, so you can't put it on this hand. If you're separating with this hand, you're grabbing tweezers, so then it would need to go on this hand, and so if you're here, it just doesn't work whichever way you do it, because the way you're holding your hand, your lash pad ends up being like this, and it's inconvenient. You can try it if you want, only invest in one, don't create a whole system out of it. But glue, and it doesn't matter which one of these systems, it's all about the placement of your hand, and it never being like this is just not it's a poor design, you know, in every designer, okay? It's just a bad idea. Nice thought, but bad idea. Okay, the other one is, and the glue is definitely not going to stay when it's, you know, sideways or being moved around with your hand. The other one is the wrist technique. So I know I wish I'd had a video to show me how this thing works. You just kind of wrap it around, pretty cool. You would put your tweezers here and your lash pad somewhere here, and again it's the same thing. You're in there and your lash pad is more often than not this way or that way or sideways. It doesn't matter where you stick it, it's not ever going to be in a position that works. So don't invest in the wrist system either. Just keep with a magnetic lash tray and magnetic lash, a magnetic pillow tray and magnetic lash trays. And what those look like is, I'm so excited to announce, the best pillow tray ever is made by Lash Art, okay? It has these tubes for your tweezers. Nobody has these. They have slots, and the tweezers is just terrible. It has magnets right here to hold your tray so they don't slip and slide and move. They even come with mini magnet trays, so you can do several, and you can put a whole set on these. It's fantastic. It doesn't go anywhere. It's awesome. This is made by Lash Art out of the UK. It's fairly inexpensive. It even has a light and a backlight that glows back here and through these tubes. That makes it really cool. These are USB ports, so you can plug in your glue shaker or your mister and it can charge right there. Oh, this is the greatest thing on the market. It also has a light
I couldn't hear what you said.
right there, just like that. That's my light. It is so amazing. It's the greatest thing on the market. I have shopped everywhere. It is by far numero uno. And then you can buy magnetic lash trays from London Lash. They have this great organizer. I love it. They're not very magnetized, but they're enough. And then these as well, or you can just buy from Lash Art. You're gonna pay the same price whichever way you go. The next best thing are these fancy giant magnetic lash pads right here. So I love these. They're great blank slates, especially if you're creating and learning with new lashes and new sets, and you can really explore with these things. So I use both, and I suggest that as you slowly invest into your studio, you use both as well. Stay tuned for more.